Greetings viewers, this is Monto Maverick coming at you with another review video. Today we're going to be continuing the Endless Waltz line by discussing and reviewing the Master Grade Wing Gundam Zero from Endless Waltz. There's not too much I can say about the backstory of the Wing Zero in the Endless Waltz line, only because I did a background of the Wing Gundam Proto Zero to be exact, on my last review. In case you haven't seen it, there'll be a link in the description below. But aside from that, this version though was in the Endless Waltz movie, Gundam Wing Endless Waltz to be exact, and this just really brought out a different take of the Wing Zero. In this case, the wings that's associated are angelic, as you can see, which is kind of ironic because Yuri, the pilot of Wing Zero, is an atheist. So the fact that he doesn't believe in God or things along those lines is quite poetic that his Gundam has angel wings. However, even though this Gundam made its debut in Gundam Wing Endless Waltz, didn't really have much of a backstory until years later. In the Glory of the Losers manga, the Wing Zero was developed by the wreckage of the destroyed Wing Gundam Proto Zero and upgraded with wing binders from the Talkies Flugel. Basically, it's an original Talkies with angel wings attached to it. It combines the armament and equipment of the TV version that we are familiar with the Endless Waltz version, such as having a shield and being able to transform into a Neo Bird mode. However, this kit does not do that. Now I'm going to give some spoiler alert, and I'm going to review a little bit of how this was brought up in Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. So if you don't want to hear about it and want to watch it yourself, please skip about a minute or so, minute or two to be exact, so you don't want to hear any spoilers. Now you've been warned. In Endless Waltz, it was about a year after the war, and everyone except for Wu Fei Chen decided to send their Gundams to the sun, which included Sandwalk, Heavy Arms, Death Sight, and of course the Wing Zero. However, with the rise of Marimar Kushanada, the illegitimate daughter of Trace Kushanada, decided to perform the original Operation Meteor. I'm sorry, I was actually reading this off, I do apologize. He would decide to set off into space to retrieve his Wing Zero. Once he would retrieve his Wing Zero, he was intercepted by Wu Fei in his Ultron Gundam, and then two Gundams dueled each other above the Earth orbit, or basically in space. Now, during the battle, Yuri did not really fight to his fullest extent because he found the fight pointless. And because of that, the Wing Zero received heavy damage from both the Ultron Gundam and the re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. At which point, the Wing Zero fell into the ocean. After some time, the Wing Zero got reactivated on its own and arrived in the sky at Brussels, where the other Gundams were fighting. And Hero Yuri aimed the twin buster rifle at the shield-protected presidential building where Marimar and her troops were hiding in. Hero fired his twin buster rifle 3 times, and after each one, because due to the recoil, the Wing Zero received more damage to its state and was falling apart until at the third and final shot, the Wing Zero, after receiving so much damage, exploded altogether. But luckily at the last shot, it destroyed the bunker that Marimar and the troops were hiding in. But that's enough for the backstory of the Wing Zero. Let's get on with the review. Now let's start off with the box. And I want to let all you know that this kit itself is actually quite old. It was released back in 2004. So this was when Master Grades made a hit in the Gunpla line, I would say. So this is very different to how Master Grades are now. So for starters, you can tell there is some just slight wear and damage around these corners. I do apologize about that. But you look at the side here, it gives you a good idea of how to pose the Gundam, especially in this as action pose where you open the wings up like so. And of course, creating that iconic moment where the Wing Zero was firing his twin Buster rifle. And here it is as well, along with 2 beam sabers. And back then, this was worth 3,800 yen or 38 United States dollars. And of course, shows here a few other things as well. It shows you the inner frame, which this really stood out more for this kit. The inner frame was pretty good, I would say, not too bad. Whereas now that you don't really need too many armor pieces to show the inner frame. I would say that Bandai did a much better job with the inner frame now than it did back in 2004. And of course, it shows you how to close and open the wings up, both the back and obviously the main wings here, and of course how to close the wings like so. Oops. And of course in the box it comes with the manual, as you see, and this is how the manuals used to be. Now the manuals have an action pose similar to how it is on the box, but these, again, this was back in 2004. So the manuals were a little bit different, just shows like an etch sketch, so to speak, almost like a blueprint of the side profile of the Wing Zero. And of course, if you open this up, you see all these points where certain decals will go. And a nice little display of all the runners that's associated with this kit. And so I'll start with the torso, the arms, and this is definitely different than how certain instructions are. Usually it's the head, the torso, the arms. In this case, it starts with the torso. And it's actually not both pages. It's one page shows you the directions, whereas the other page just shows you a brief description of the certain parts. The head, the arms, the leg units here. And the arms and the weapons here. Or my wings and the weapons, I'm sorry. And it shows you some descriptions of how the Wing Gundam was in Endless Waltz. Basically what I just explained to you, how it was planning on going to the sun, going towards the sun, until Hiro Yuri decided to intercept it and then pilot the Wing Zero. And of course return to the battlefield and firing his twin Buster rifle onto the bunker that Marimeo was in. And over here it shows you the color palette that's associated with the Gundam. And here you have the legs as well. And then get on with the waist and the wings. And here it shows you some extra things you can do with the kit, whether it be holding up the beam sabers or placing them onto the wings, which I will show later. And one thing I do like about this kit, that it does come with an action base for, of course, action poses such as this. And another sheet that shows where all the decals will go on the kit. And here shows you how to close the wings up, in which I will show later. And a backside of the Wing Zero. That's it for the manual. And one other thing that this kit came with, which I've not seen any other Master Grade comes with, this leather, I'll say cutout really. I would say this might be used to be as like a back piece in case you want to display the Wing Zero. But I've not seen any other Master Grade that has something like this. So this is the one and only that I have currently. I'm not so sure if kits at that time had this, but this one definitely does stand out because it's the only thing that comes with it that's a little bit extra. So I find that really interesting. But enough of the contents, let's get on with the figure. And here we have the 1/100th scale Master Grade Wing Zero Endless Waltz. And I must admit, even though it's a little bit old, it still holds pretty good for the time being of the test and time. The colors still work well. There's not any discoloration that I can see, so I am thankful for that. But at the same time, though, it does work well. I mean, it has the basic Gundam colors, the white, the red, and the blue. And of course, the yellow for that V-fin that is very trademark of a Gundam. But yes, I really, this style, this concept for the wings there was definitely one of my favorites just because of its angelic display, really. As I mentioned before, it's very poetic at the fact that, or maybe even though ironic, that the pilot is self an atheist and he's piloting an angelic Gundam. So I really find that interesting. But aside from that, actually standing this up was a little bit difficult, I will say that right now. But luckily, the back wings are holding up pretty well. So even though I can say it's a bit back heavy, but because of those wings, it's holding pretty still. But at the same time, though, I do just like the way how this looks. It does work well. Nice colors aside, it's proportioned quite well as much. The legs, I say a little bit long, but it actually works well with the size of this kit. The size of the torso, the head, the arms, the wings. I say a little bit too big, but at the same time, because it's the way how the wing zero is, and the full focus of this kit is all the wings. So for that matter, I can say that even though to me, I think the wings are just a little bit too big, at the same time, it does help with this kit just because of the way how it's displayed, along with, as I mentioned before, the back wings are helping it stand on my display tables. So I'm really happy with that. Now let me show you the articulation, and I'm going to be very careful just because I feel like because this is a little bit old, I'm kind of worried that some parts may fall off, but we shall see. So for starters, the head can go forward and back like so, and it can turn around pretty well, like so. You see these chest cannons right here, and I think just because of the way how the head is placed, that's as much as I can open to show those cannons there. Give you a little close up, like so. Oops, see? I knew that's going to happen, but I'm just going to leave that to the side for right now. The arms can go forward and back, up and down, and has a pretty good elbow bend, so I am thankful for that. The hand can rotate all the way. The thumb can go up and down like so, and the fingers actually has the index finger can move independently compared to the other three. That's the one thing I do like about certain kits is that they have that. And also the way how this closes almost has a very, very faint like a ratchet, so it's not too loose, so I'm thankful for that. But the one thing that this kit does not have, which I wish it does, is that on some current kits now has a little peg out, or even like a hole here, so that way whenever you put weapons in, there's like a peg or a hole separately on the other part, and it can hold them pretty well. Fortunately, this kit, due to its age, I would say, does not have that. So for the shoulders, these can actually open just ever so slightly or close. And this can actually go down, and that was for the wings closing in on the Gundam. So do that later. This can rotate all around. And I think this can go all the way, but I think this is as far as I can turn the waist. So if you move the front skirt up, you can rotate the leg all the way up and all the way back. It cannot do the splits, unfortunately. So the knee bend, I would say, is actually pretty good. And the foot can go all the way back. It can rotate like so. Unfortunately, that's as far as it can turn. so can't do anything about that. Oops. And I think this kit is starting to show the test of time that some parts are falling off. Now as for these back wings, if these don't fall off, these do rotate like so, can turn, this can go up. And one of my favorite things about this kit is that these wings can open up like so. So really do like that. I'll show this wing. There's actually a few points of articulation here, and these have some nice ratchets, so I'll say these are pretty strong for right now. Can go forward and back. This can go up and to the side. And these can rotate like so. And these can open. And these feathers, I would say, can move independently. But I just want to forewarn you, I remember when moving this a long time ago, these tend to fall off quite easily because these are actually just very rubber plastic, whereas these are just a lot harder plastic. So just be watchful of that. And this can close like so. And these three, there's another joint here that can move like so, just mostly whenever the wings are closing. So leave that there. Oop. There we go. All right. And with this kit, I was really surprised by this though. Actually. There, now it looks a lot better with this other wing. But I was going to add that I am surprised by one thing that this kit came with. It came with an extra pair of hands. Like so. But the thing about these is, there's no other really point. The only difference about these hands and the ones that's on the Wing Zero is that these are gray, those are white. That's all it really is. There's not an extra peg here. These smooth the exact same way as the white hand. So in case you were to get this kit, you can just trade out these hands with the white ones. That's about it. And this comes with a small figurine of Hirayuri. And one thing about this figurine compared to the current ones is that the current ones usually have like a small little display that can stand on that's molded into the figurine. In this case, it does not have that. So I'm kind of surprised by that, but like I said, older kits. These also come with two beam sabers. Right here, and the handles for them can actually be stored on the back wings right here. So you can just take this out like so, and just place these in like so. And since I have these out, I'll show you how these are positioned. Just place them here and close the hand. Like so. So a little bit loose, unfortunately, just a little bit, like so. But like I said, there's no peg or hole to put these in, so just be very careful when you place the weapons in them. And speaking of weapons, of course, the iconic Twin Buster Rifle. And I would say that this is actually pretty detailed. I would give it that. I do like the way how it looks. I kind of wish that the color of it was just a little bit darker, but I can't argue too much about that. And you can just take these apart, like so. And these are a little bit stuck. Oh, there we go. And you can just close these up like so. Push that in. Same thing here, push that in and close this like so. And it's going to be placed something along these lines. But again, actually these are holding on pretty still, but then again, these are not attached to the kit, so we see how that goes. And that's it for the weapons. And now for some side-by-side comparisons. Here's the Ring Zero right beside the real grade new Gundam. As you can see, the Ring Zero is just definitely taller than the new Gundam. But at the same time, I actually am quite surprised. For a real Gundam, the new Gundam is kind of tall. I'm sorry, real grade. That's what I meant to say. Real grade new Gundam is kind of tall for a real grade. The Ring Zero is definitely just slightly taller. So I'm happy with that. And here's the with the Master Grade Tall Geese Endless Waltz. I would say they're similar in height, just because of the crest that's on top of the Tall Geese head. This Trojan helmet, so to speak. And here's the with the Wing Gundam, I'm sorry. And looks like the Wing Gundam is actually just a little bit taller, just by a hair. It's a so-called descendant. And speaking of wings, here's a with Gundam Death Scythe. And probably just because the way I have these two positioned, it looks like the actually, I don't know. I think they actually are roughly the same height. Just from the angle, it looks like the wings are just slightly taller. But I think I think the both of them are the same height. But the Death Scythe definitely a lot wider just because of that cloak or wingspan. And lastly, here is the Ring Zero with the Wing Gundam Proto Zero. So there's a big difference, but also some similarities. The feet definitely look similar. The waist looks similar, just a different color and different style, I would say. And the head even looks similar. Instead, the Proto Zero cheeks, I would say, are white, whereas the Wing Gundam Endless Waltz is blue. But definitely a big difference here. And that's it for side-by-side comparisons. And as I mentioned before, this kit comes with its own action base, which is needed for this kit, just like how it was with the Proto Zero, definitely needed. Then you can actually create this iconic pose. Definitely the angelic and definitely how the pose worked, just like how it was in Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. When Hiro Yuri finally pilots his Ring Zero, you just see it open up, just have that welcoming intro in the movie. So it's very, very iconic. And now to show you how to close the wings up and put it inside a so-called defense mode, what you gotta do is you actually need to move the knees forward like so. I'm going to do a side view so everyone can see what I'm doing. Just bring it forward. Well, actually, it might be better if to, there we go. Move the legs all the way out. There we go. So you're looking at something like this. Then you move the feet downward and then close that up. And do the exact same thing on this side. So leg all the way out. Maneuver this like so. close that up. Close this. Then you gotta rotate the arm. So these four arm guards facing forward. So make sure these are closed, and then you extend them, then you fold them down like so. And lastly, these, position them forward like so. Oh, I think this actually got disconnected again. Excuse me. Okay, the wing got disconnected, but I think it's good now. So maneuver these out like so, and rotate these forward. Same thing how you do on the other wing. Then you make sure these feathers are out as much as they can so you can properly close this like so. And then I'm just going to turn this around so it's up to you if you want to open these up. And there we go. And you have a pose such as this. And now for my final thoughts. The good, the bad, with pros and cons, and everything else in between. Let's start off with the good. So good-wise is the color. I would say the color choices was pretty good. None of them was too glossy or even too satin-like. I would say it had the right shade, the right style of color associated with this kit. Proportions are quite well as much. I do enjoy the way how these turn out entirely for this kit. Also, in terms of color and discoloration, or even fading for that matter, for a kit from 2004, I'm kind of glad the color stayed as it was back when I first built this. So I am thankful for that. However, with that being said, the bad, and hate to say it, there are a good number of it. For starters, there was a lot of loose joints. I don't know if it's because the way how I built this, or just because that is the test of time. You know, it just comes with the territory the older kits are. I can't say for certain, but that is one thing I'm having issues with. Next thing is some parts just came off. The wing came off a couple times. The head crest came off a couple times. It was just one thing after another was just coming off. So that was a bit irritating. Another thing too is the way how the weapons are being held. As I mentioned before, there was no peg or hole to place the weapons in. So they are very loose. So they will not hold still. Another thing, because of the some loose joints, right now it's doing pretty well, but if I put these in a different position, then the weight of it would just make the elbow joint a little bit weak. So I'm not too fond of that. So with that being said, is this a kit worth getting? I hate to say it, I'm gonna say no, just because of how old it is. Don't get me wrong, this is still iconic for when this first came out. But since then, master grades definitely are a little bit better, whether it be holding the weapons or just making sure pieces don't fall off so easily. There are definitely better master grades out there. I would definitely say that. But for the time that this came out back in 2004, yes, it was good back then. Now I can't say so much. But if you still want to get this kit just because of that nostalgia feel, because you're a fan of Gundam Wing Endless Waltz or just Gunpla entirely, by all means, go for it. Don't get me wrong, the Wing Zero is definitely an iconic Gundam. Every fan of Gunpla or just Gundams entirely would definitely say that for a fact. Thank you all for watching. Even though I said some bad things about this kit, I did enjoy reviewing it. So I hope you all like it. And if you enjoy my opinion, thank you very much. If you want to share yours, please feel free to comment down below. If you haven't done so, please like, share, subscribe. Definitely more videos to come. And take a look at these videos here that's displayed here. One, the most recent, and one that YouTube picked out. So until next time, keep on building. A little bonus ending actually for this review. I do want to put these two side by side, which I did earlier. But at the same time, I just want to envision, is there a way to combine the Endless Waltz version and the Proto Z together? I was just trying to figure out if there's like another version we can compare this to. And we can. How does compare to the Ring Zero Endless Waltz version KA? Stay tuned.